What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to What's on Your Screen podcast. I am Elio Ramos, accompanied by my cousin Javier Rivera.
Yeah, good evening. It's good to be back. Yeah, let's talk.
Yeah.
Go.
So, first up on the list, we want to talk about some trailers. Some trailers that have been popping up. It's really like two trailers that we really want to discuss. First one is the Halo trailer that dropped some time ago. Some time ago, was it earlier this week? Earlier this week, I
Yeah, it
think.
was. Yeah, yeah. I think it was during one of those football games.
Yes. It was like Sunday. It was during the weekend, and then because on Monday they announced, Sony announced that they bought Bungie, and everybody
Yeah,
was like, "Oh snap! This is
yeah,
them trying to like pay back for Activision and all that stuff." And I found it kind of hilarious that Bungie was the original one that developed Halo, and they just dropped the Halo trailer, and then Sony buys Bungie, and people are like, "Well, I guess Microsoft just lost Halo." But yeah,
no,
no. Microsoft owns that IP. Bungie lost out on that whole
yeah. That was
interaction.
when one of the claw when Bungie bought back their independence from Marvel. They Marvel kept the IP Halo IP, and when they got their freedom.
You mean Microsoft, also known as Marvel?
Yeah, yeah. Microsoft. Did I say Marvel?
Yeah,
Damn it.
was
Anyway, it's always Marvel just doing stuff.
yeah, no, it's true. Well, one of the trailers we're going to talk about is
Yeah,
also
it's about
it's a Marvel
Marvel.
based trailer. So first off, I'm just gonna say that the Halo trailer gave me all the feels, 100%. Like all the goosies all over my body, and it felt amazing. Visually stunning show, and it's something that all Halo fans have been waiting for and they've been anticipating for a really long time. It's been announced for years, right? There's that whole
Yeah,
IP was passed around. George Steven Spielberg, sorry, Steven Spielberg had access to it. They had passed the batons to him to do it, and then at one point, the director of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, was going to do something with it, and
yeah. The director of District 9. District 9 was gonna be Halo. It was
yeah, because the
yeah,
the props of what Halo was going to be got used in District 9.
yeah. He did a
So
short film, and it looked like Halo, and he was gonna start doing Halo. They had props and everything already
mm,
made. And something happened with the studio, just backed out, and
yeah,
never got made.
yeah,
So
that
until now,
yeah, and that was a tricky time back then because a lot of studios
yeah.
were pulling out and stuff like that, and the Hobbit almost didn't make it and stuff like that because of the same reason.
Yeah,
Um,
poor Guillermo del Toro, he lost a year of his life in there.
yeah,
I would have loved to see that version.
oh, 100%. Guillermo del Toro's Hobbit would have been phenomenal. We would have
Yeah,
loved it. But we digress a little bit. So to me the trailer looks great. My biggest thing though, my biggest thing is the story. Is it going to hold up? Did we get enough story content in that trailer for us to say that yeah, it's going to be visually stunning and also story driven? I just it's too early to tell, but I think visually it's going to be good. Primo, what do you think?
I don't I don't know much about the lore of Halo because
Hmm.
each time I play, I played it more with you and co-op, and I always ask, does he take his helmet off? You're like always, oh, every time we're like, no, he doesn't. So I never got interested into the Halo. I played a couple of them, and I'm an Xbox guy, but I never got into the series. And the lore, apparently, the lore, there's a lot of books and comic books and stuff where they explore a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know much of it, so I couldn't tell you. I can't remember the original story. I played it, but I can't remember the story. So it didn't. Excuse me. It didn't vibe with me. The art and the art style and the so yeah, it looks good. It looks nice. Some cool scenes there, like when he's fighting with those two sword guys. What do you call those? The brutes or
No, there's yeah, I forget their names too.
yeah, they use those energies
Yeah, the
knife.
energy blades is I don't think
Yeah.
it's is the Revenant, is it? Oh man, I'm butchering it. Halo fans are just gonna
Covenant.
Covenant. Yeah, there it is. There it is. See, we got there.
Yeah,
Teamwork.
we got
We got there. The Covenant.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that part.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll probably well, I'm here in Puerto Rico. We don't get Paramount Plus is not in Puerto Rico yet, so I don't know.
What?
Yeah, we still blocked off.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it is. People are getting desperate because they announced that game, and now everybody's like, I saw in some Xbox Puerto Rican Xbox forums, they were going crazy. How am I? Because people don't want to like pirate it. They just want to watch it on
Yeah.
just push play and just watch it on their
Mira,
TV.
mándame eso para acá.
Yeah, and people were like, "Hey, you better send this over here." So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how if they add Puerto Rico, then yes, I gotta pay for the app for try to watch it.
Yeah, because that's definitely what's enticing me to get that app for sure. It's because of Halo, and they have some decent content. Other things are coming in there.
Yeah,
Yellowstone is
yeah, the
is
movies drop fast in there, so
yeah.
it's
So they got some great content there. But I will say this that the trailer has created this, I don't know, this complete debacle about Cortana. For those of you who don't know, Cortana is an AI character in the game that is tapped into your helmet, to Master Chief's helmet, and her visual representation is a woman, and she's blue. Like the original one, I think she was kind of like purple or purplish. I don't know, but she's always been blue. And so if you go on Twitter and people just talking about the trailer and stuff like that, the biggest complaint was that, oh, Cortana is not blue. And I just have to take two steps back, because if you watch the trailer, there's hues of blue, but you're not gonna make, when you have all this money and you're dropping the actress that actually plays the character and does the voice for the character and stuff like that, and you're gonna drop her into the actual show, you're not gonna try to like cover her up, one, with all this blue, and then two, it's CG, like you're gonna make it clean and polished with some blue tint on there, like subtle blue tints. I guarantee you, if the makers of Halo back in the day had the technology that they have now, they would have made Cortana the same way that they did it on the show. Because it looks legit. Like she's a living, breathing kind of AI artificial thing, and I just couldn't believe it. There was like a whole Twitter feed, just people just fixing it and just uh throwing on blue and everything like that on it, and I'm just baffled by it. She looks great. She looks fantastic, and
I
that
didn't
was
have a problem with that with her. I think
yeah,
she looked fine.
exactly same here, and
I
people,
and people don't understand. They choose some colors because it's on camera, and
that's true.
if you change the shade, then you have to change other stuff. It's a cascading problem.
Yeah,
So
that's
maybe
accurate.
that blue just looks good on that screen, on their color, whatever color palette they're using for the show.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And the guy who's voicing Master Chief, like I get people wanted to do that somebody could have done like a voiceover and have the original voice do Master Chief, but I think this is an opportunity for a new generation to have their own Master Chief,
yeah,
and also
and
give
it's
the
different now.
opportunity for the actor himself to perform and bring that character to life. You got to give him a chance to do that.
Yeah, it's a different audience. It's like it's
Mhm.
not so. I mean, the original voice actor is pretty. He's an old man right now, so I don't think
Yeah.
even in Infinite, you feel like, oh, he's old now.
Yeah. He's saying like subtle words here and there. He's
Yeah,
like, "No.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe. Let's go.
yeah.
Cortana." It's like, "Okay."
But the actor, I think, oh man, I remember his brother is from that Showtime show, Ray Donovan.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah, the main
That's
actor
such a
that the main actor's little brother, I think, is doing the Halo one.
Oh,
So they
damn.
kind of look alike. So
Yeah, but he has the height, so I don't think he's gonna. We'll
no,
never see his face. We'll probably see some childhood stuff, but my thought is that some of the context of this new Halo Infinite game is gonna apply to the show. I think there's gonna be some moments that they're gonna go in tandem, because I already saw a scene in the campaign that matched a scene in the show, and that just kind of confirmed my theory of they're probably go hand in hand. There's probably some elements in this game that will tie into the show and things like that, and maybe they'll have other elements from the original game and stuff like that. But that's my theory that it's going to be closely related to what this campaign is about. So that's my theory. That's me. So Primo, what was that other trailer, the Marvel one? You wanna hit us off with
Moon
a
Knight,
yeah.
Disney Plus show coming I think at the end of March. So the
Mm,
date. So yeah, Moon Knight is a comic book character from I think the 70s, 80s.
mm,
And he's usually people who see the character, they think it's a Batman but white. Just instead of black clothes, it's just he has all white clothes.
yeah.
But no, he's not. He's more deeper than that. And yeah, he's a character who has a mental illness. He has multiple personalities. Plus, he thinks there's this Egyptian god who revived him and lives inside of him. So he has all that trauma. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think fans of people of the this character's Split. You remember James McAvoy when he did Split? He had all those personalities.
Yeah.
So I think Oscar Isaac is gonna go through like that because in the show you hear him as with an English accent, and so his personalities are from different parts of the world too. So let's see what he does. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I never knew that about Moon Knight, like that he had split personalities and stuff like that. I thought that it was all based on the Egyptian thing that happened to him, like
Mm. At
whatever
the beginning, he
talisman.
was like that. He was more like a Batman character,
Mm,
but then other writers came in and have been adding stuff to the character and making him different until we got this version now that he has multiple personalities. And right now it's more like a horror type of show, comic book a little bit.
mm.
He's fighting vampires and stuff like that. And so I think he's gonna be with Blade and uh and
Oh,
the guy from Game of Thrones, that
what
was in the
what the Black
Return
Knight
of
or something like that?
the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ah,
they're gonna be like the horror kind of corner of the Marvel universe.
see, that would be interesting. That I like
Yeah,
that tapping into that to that
yeah,
genre and to that market and everything like that because that would be really cool. And I don't know too much about the character, but the visuals for me, it looked exciting. I liked the visuals. Seems like there's a lot of money poured into it. In one scene, you can see him like beating up a character that looked like Anubis or something like that.
yeah.
Um, so it looks gritty. It has like Daredevil feel to it from the
Hmm.
Netflix original. So it has that feel. I'm excited, but I'm curious on how they approach the his mental illness and his split personalities, because
Okay.
that just means you probably have four different storylines, and the main center point of all four storylines
It
is
depends on how much they add to that because I think they're gonna try to keep it simple so people can follow.
yeah.
So probably three max. Because I think one of his personality is the one where he wears like a business suit all white and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Has that white mask, and that's Mr. Knight. So that's one of those characters in there. So maybe he's in there. So let's see.
Yeah.
There were rumors that there was a version of him there. So
See, and that's my point, that all these personalities will be fixed on how they interpret
yeah,
the his ability or
usually his
whatever.
personalities are one feeds into the other because one is
Mm.
like a, a millionaire type of Bruce Wayne type of character. So
Mm.
his resources feeds into the one that's a mercenary that knows how to fight. Eventually, he's the one who is Moon Knight. You know, all of them feed into it into his persona. So
No, that's what's up, man. That's awesome. That's freaking
yeah,
awesome. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it might be visually probably one of the better ones, but we've had
I
visually
hope.
stunning shows before where the story is horrendous, like Winter Soldier and Captain Falcon and the Captain Falcon. No, what is that show? I know it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Jesus,
Yeah,
I went I went F-Zero
yeah.
on this.
He stripped his title of captain,
I sure did. Yeah.
but yeah, it all depends on Marvel. It's like if they if they want to like tease a lot of other characters and shows, then yeah, it's gonna be a mess of a show because eventually that turns into that. So,
Yeah.
but if they're pretty hands off of world build, just let the character go do what its story is gonna be. So maybe it's
Hmm.
good. But all these Marvel shows, that's what have been the Achilles heel is that when they try to expand the Marvel universe, introducing characters that don't need to be there and stuff like that. So that's I hope they don't do that with Moon Knight, but
Yeah.
I have no hope in there.
Yeah, it would be nice if they had a teaser for Blade, like you said, something along the same aesthetics as his universe, and
Yeah,
every the creature of the night kind of thing. So hopefully they will introduce characters like that make sense and kind of go hand in hand with what's coming down the line. So I think in that regard, yes, but you're absolutely right that in the past they've done that with all the shows just to force characters in there for the sake of, hey, this character might appear in a movie later, or now that we explained
yeah,
this character, you won't be so surprised when they appear in this next movie. So I still haven't seen the Hawkeyes. It just at one point I was interested, and then all of a sudden, just when it started coming out, I was just like, I'm not, I'm okay.
man, that was rough. That was a rough show.
Mm, that's what I was
But
concerned.
there's good points into it because I like Kate Bishop. She she and Black Widow's sister they steal the show.
Oh yeah.
Uh, they have a great chemistry.
Mm,
And they're both of them are in the screen, so
yeah.
just for that, watch it. It's really good for that, and there's some funny scenes there with a musical and stuff like that about the Avengers story. So I recommend it. It is fun and it's introducing other new characters in another world. Daredevil, Echo, and you know, Gielina as Black Widow and Kate Bishop. Which, so yeah, it's a fun show. I like the spirit of the show. It's just the execution wasn't there. So,
Mm,
but I recommend it. You know,
all right.
just keep tabs with Marvel stuff, and
Yeah, I'll probably just like binge it over the weekend or something like that. Put it
yeah,
on the
it's better that way
yeah,
than weekly.
yeah.
Weekly was very frustrating. It was a frustrating show.
I bet. I bet if it's as rough as you say it is, then yeah, it's just the weekly stand. A lot of shows tend to be that way. But if you can binge it, then you can kind of get over the fact that, you know,
Yeah,
you see all their faults, but then you just kind of get through it faster instead of just like festering and stewing on that. Like, my God, that was really bad episode, kind of
yeah.
thing. So, but so on that note, let's pivot to the parent or the parent company's sibling. Well, how do I pivot that? The the parent company Disney, the brother being Star Wars. That's what I wanted to do, but I was failing at it. So I failed at that point. So all right, pivoting to Star Wars since we're on that whole train of Marvel Disney kind of thing. We're going on this train. I been watching the Boba Fett series up to this point, and I don't really like. I don't like to talk about it too much, especially because I like to give everybody a chance to watch these shows before I really dive into it. But I kind of can't help it this time because there was the show. The show is awesome. Boba Fett, seeing Boba Fett and everything like that, it's awesome. It's been developing pretty well. I mean, it's not like a spectacular. It's like a fanfare, and they really nailed it with this last episode. A key bounty hunter uh, appeared at the end of this week's episode, and it was a spectacle to behold. In my opinion, is one of the best things that's ever happened in the Star Wars cinematic universe ever. I mean, besides the inception of Star Wars itself, but this right here is Cat Bane. That's his name. Like he's like a Western kind of like bounty hunter, and he was first introduced in the Star Wars Clone Wars as a bounty hunter. He was one of the characters that took on Obi-Wan Kenobi and took Princess Amidala hostage in the season finale, I think, of maybe season 1 or season 2. And he was just holding everybody hostage there and just went toe to toe with the Jedi on a regular basis. And they freaking brought him to the show. So it's so good. It's so good, and because of that, like I got to give this show like a pass, right? Because I'm super biased, 100% biased, but the fact that they brought that character to life, to this universe, oh my god, it's so good, and it develops so organically too, like how he appeared, and he fits in the realm of like all the bounty hunters, and ah, it's just fantastic. It was so great to just be alive in that moment to see that. I had goosebumps, like, and the way that they shot it like this Western style. You know, you got like a Lawrence of Arabia kind of feel, where like the haze and the distance and this mysterious character, strangers walking into town. You hear the spurs, you know, clinging, and he's walking, and people get a sense, the aura, the vibe, and this guy, there's something about this guy. Oh man, and he doesn't reveal his face until he says like, you know, like the key words or whatnot, like you might want to just not be here, blah blah blah. You know, I don't want to spoil it, but anyways, it was such a powerful moment, a powerful scene, and I appreciate the fact that they brought it to life, and it was just a spectacle just to behold, and I hope that they keep him around longer because the character's been through so much, and we've seen him in Star Wars Clone Wars multiple times, Star Wars Rebels, uh, and we also saw him on this last one, um, the Bad Batch. We saw him on Bad Batch too. So yeah, he's a badass character that I freaking love, and the show's taken like this weird turn as well. It seems like they're trying to double dip a little bit. They brought Mandalorian into the show for like 2 episodes straight. So it starts off with like the Book of Boba, right? Like it's all about Boba Fett and how became Boba, like the new head honcho in Tatooine. But then it just completely takes a right turn and goes straight into the Mandalorian storyline. So they're kind of getting away with murder here because now they can, if you watch Mandalorian, they don't have to explain that much. They could just kind of go straight into the heart of the story, hopefully, and not have to explain where Grogu's at, where Mando's at, or how he got this, or where did he go here, kind of thing. Um, so I understand why they're doing that, but it just kind of feels like Mandalorian took over the show at the end, and now next week is the last episode of the season. So we'll see. It's gearing up to be like a big battle, but I know I'm going on this long rant, but the fact that they brought this character to life, it's it's a spectacle to behold, and I highly recommend any fans of the bounty hunters to see this episode because you won't be disappointed, especially in the ending. It's just my jaw was dropped. It took me a second to reclaim it from the ground. So highly recommend it. I've been enjoying it. It's been fun, and I appreciate that Disney's putting it out in Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos because it's a spectacular experience. Hearing the ships, oh man, the ships! I'm like a little kid in a candy store right now. The ships are just so phenomenal. The way that they've done the CG on this show is spectacular. It's like movie grade quality CG. The money that they're pouring into it and the sound effects, like you hear like on Dolby Atmos, you hear the ship start like on one side and it goes and just goes on to the other side. And it looks immaculate. You know, it looks so good on that screen and just oh, it's breathtaking. It just brings me back to Star Wars, the essence of what Star Wars is, and it's been a joy to watch and see that world again and see Tatooine come to life and all that, you know, the underbelly of the Star Wars. It's been spectacular. It really has been. So highly recommend it. Primo, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking? I was like a little kid for like 12 seconds plus a minute or two.
I'm behind on the Star Wars shows. Um, I only watched the first season of Mandalorian, and it was a pretty crappy show. It wasn't that good or profound. And all these
Yeah.
shows have turned into fan service. Just right now, the criticism of this about the Book of Boba Fett is that for 2 episodes, the main characters are not on the show, and that's a no-no.
That's true.
Whatever show you want or what type of story you want to tell, it's a no-no. So for you that you always know, I'm about all about the storytelling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's true. I like I said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But this last episode, man, that's what I'm saying. I give it a pass because of this last episode and that character that appeared. Is
For me, it's like they took maybe the worst thing from Marvel and applied it into their shows.
woo.
Like that world building, like at all costs, no matter if you destroy the storyline. And they're pretty aggressive with it. And their fan service, it's like Disney was constantly just walking and hitting you know, the that episode of The Simpsons where he walks and hits the rake leaf, the bam, hits in the face,
Yeah,
like so. It's Disney was like that for a couple of years with Star Wars,
yeah.
and they just figured out fans don't want anything new. They just want the old same storylines and characters just thrown in there in the middle. And I'm not for that. I wanted a new universe, expanded it, and they're just making this universe small and smaller, smaller. I mean, it's pretty infuriating. That's why I don't watch the show. It's just like so empty. It's just fan service.
Um, you destroyed me. No, it's no. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I agree in that regard. Um, the main character of the show is not in the last two episodes.
No,
He was
and the
there at
only
the
two
end,
shows
but
they have, the only two shows they have, and the characters were the similar clothing. Only
yeah,
one is silver, and the other one is
the green.
yeah, green one.
Yeah.
So it's basically just and it's the same stupid fucking planet, Tatooine.
Mm.
Luke Skywalker wanted to get away from that planet, and fans are like, "No, we're gonna stay here in the sand pit." Oh, God, I hate that planet. My God.
This is my
Even in
sandpit.
even in the last movie, like Bray goes there, it's like, why are you there? He hated the place.
Oh man, it's so true. No, you're absolutely right, man. They've not done a good job in expanding the universe. You bring up a really strong point of how it's gotten smaller and smaller.
I bet
It's
that green Google Wawa baby Yoda, I bet at the end is gonna be a Skywalker. His Anakin Skywalker's grandfather banged a Yoda, female Yoda, and that's it. He's his grandfather, uncle finger. So he's Grogu Skywalker at the end. And you know what? If they do that, fans are gonna start crying and say, "Yes, I knew it. I knew it."
oh man, Star Wars fans, beware.
Yeah, put a warning in.
Oh my goodness. No, yeah, it's you're right, dude. You're right. There's opportunities there for original content, and they're not really producing it. I think Mando is been the the thought behind the character is original and making it kind of like this westerny bounty hunter kind of thing. You got to see a lot of the universe and the galaxy with the Mandalorian and stuff, but like you said, it just as soon as Luke Skywalker walked back into the fray, like you're right. It just went from like this big old thing to just real narrow. Like here it
Yeah.
is. Because spoiler alert, Luke was in this last episode as well, and they did a great job with the CG and his face and stuff like that. But
Let me rant for here for a
oh,
moment.
this is gonna be good, y'all
Okay,
get ready for this. Buckle up.
apparently Luke Skywalker is gonna continue to pop up. Then cast somebody to be Luke Skywalker. So he can act with other characters on the when they're filming. What is all this CG bullshit with the character who just looks like a fucking robot there standing right there without any emotion? And just cast Stan, the guy who does Winter Soldier. He looks
Yes.
like school. Cast him. That's it.
Yeah.
And stop wasting money on CG and put the actor there.
Yeah.
Okay, Randolph.
No, I agree. I think it's Sebastian Stain or something. That's his name.
Yeah, Sebastian Stan.
It, like
Yeah.
they need a 100%. He looks like freaking
Yeah,
Luke
he does.
Skywalker. He looks like a young version of the of that actor. Forget his name. Um, anyways, but yeah, he looks like Luke's.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Mark Hamill. He looks like a young version of Mark Hamill. He looks exactly like him. Just put him in there, maybe put some makeup on him or something like that. But yeah, he is Luke Skywalker of this generation, and I agree with you wholeheartedly that they need to do that. I think they're gonna come to a Jesus moment. I don't know if there's something contractually obligating them to keep Mark Hamill's image in there. I guess they're
No, I
probably
don't think so. He
catering
just
to the
want his
fans.
voice.
Yeah, that's probably it. But I agree with you. They just need a recast, and I don't doubt that that's gonna happen here soon, because that man could play Luke Skywalker for the next, I don't know, decade, and he'd still be
Yeah, he
fine.
could give you those 30 years before the new trilogy,
Yeah.
fill it up with him exploring the galaxy. And they should have done that from the beginning. Just give me some Luke Skywalker storyline where all these well, how the after the republic the empire was how you finished it off, and
Mm-hmm.
where the republic start again and the first order and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You were exploring the universe for new jedis and shit.
Yeah.
Do that, you have it. Why are we tippy-toeing around it? Like, just do it.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, and they completely botched it with this Disney trilogy. They went too
Yeah.
far too fast. They didn't have any original content, any original idea. They just, yeah, it was a rinse and repeat.
The metal film had an idea.
It did.
The theme of it, I loved it. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, let's leave all this behind and let's find new stories in this universe.
Yeah.
And it was people started bitching and crying,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to go back and eat back that horrible film that JJ did. The I don't know what his name is.
What
The
the?
last one that came out,
Oh,
the Revenge of the Sith or something like that.
wait, no. So it's
The
Force Awakens. The last. Wait, is it the Last
Force
Jedi?
Awakens, Last Jedi is the middle one.
Is it? And what's the last one? Is it the Force goes to sleep?
I don't know. Anyway, but it's just they don't now they're figuring it out like, oh, fans just want to watch Luke Skywalker and all these people. And I was betting that Han Solo was gonna appear in this show. I was like, he's gonna appear there, he's gonna lose his Millennium Falcon, and I think Mando's gonna take the Falcon with the little frog thing, and they're gonna be shipping around for a couple years in the Millennium. So I was thinking that was gonna happen. So
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's possible with this new Disney leadership, but I think James Favreau has a good head on his shoulders. He's taking things in a good direction, and uh, I think his name is Dave Filoni, the guy
yeah,
who did
yeah. George Lucas clone, apparently, yes.
yeah, because Homeboy's done so much for the franchise. Let alone with Star Wars, the Clone Wars, Rebels, and Bad Batch. You know, he's done so much to progress the storylines in a very creative way and give these movies a soul, essentially, because there was so much information in between the episode 1 and 3 that was missing, and he was able to fill in a lot of gaps between episode 2 and 3, and able to fill in a lot of gaps after episode 3 and between episode 3 and episode 4. So he's single-handedly has done a lot, for the franchise, and having him on board, and he wrote this last episode, so there was a lot of him in there, especially with that character being revealed at the end. So it had a theme to it. This last episode was well established in the beginning, and the arc just followed through, and then it closed, and it was just a nice, well-rounded story. It's probably one of the better, if not the best written story in the whole Mandalorian and Boba Fett um, stories.
They should have called it the Book of Tatooine
See, that would have been stronger because then you can get away with having the Mandalorian appear for 2 episodes.
and the sheriff guy too,
Yeah,
the guy from Justified.
yeah. So a lot of these characters would be would be justified for being there.
Yeah, good fun, man.
But yeah, man. That's Book of Boba, or the Book of Tatooine, as it is forever known in this podcast, the Book of Tatooine, until they change it to this name. Then that is the Book of Tatooine, ladies and gentlemen, aka the Book of Boba. Any final thoughts on Star Wars and how bad it's done and how it's ruined our love for story? Because I know,
Well, I don't like I said, I'm kind of over it. Like
um,
they're not catering for me or anything, and that's fine. And fans love it. Apparently, they love CG Luke, and
yeah,
little frog guy, Grogu. So good for them. Good
yeah,
for the fans.
yeah. You bring up a lot of good points, and I totally would be saying the exact same things you are. But when this character appeared, yeah, I became part of the mass, part of the
part of
collective.
the part of the hive mind.
Yeah, because I was like, oh damn it, that was so good.
They hit you where they
Yeah,
hit you right at a soft spot.
man, that I love that character. I just love everything about that character. His persona, his swagger, the way he approaches things, the way he thinks, just and the way that they brought him to life, just like you would see him in the animated show. It's just I don't know, man. That was just so good for me, and I was like, "Damn it, I gotta give this show a pass." Now I'm biased now because I see all the faults. I do. Don't think I don't. I see it,
Yeah,
but dadgummit, dadgummit, man. I was blown away when I saw that character just walking up, and the thing was is that I knew as soon as I saw him through the haze, I was like, "Oh my god, no way!" I was man, I knew exactly who it was because it made perfect sense in my head. It just made all everything was just connecting because of the Western theme, everything. I was just like, this is who it is. There's nobody else in the galaxy, in the whole universe of Star Wars. Nobody else. It's this guy. And sure enough, he has that hat and tilts his head and it's like, oh, it just it was it was so good. And they had a shootout. They had a shootout. Homeboy's notorious for these shootouts. Notorious, and they have it. And they establish. That's what I'm saying. They established this episode so well. That's why I think.
Star Wars always has a shootout.
Yeah, but not like this.
Okay,
This is like paying.
Western type of
Yeah,
shootout.
yeah. This is paying tribute to the character's
So someone
persona.
can hit someone hit the target
Oh
this
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was delicious. It was bene bueno. It was good. It was yeah, it was fantastic, and that's why I give all credit to Dave Filoni. I think John Favreau just had his name there just out of courtesy because it's John Favreau and he's writing the whole show and he's all his. But Dave Filoni just totally crushed it. That's him because it's so. It felt like I was watching a Star Wars Clone Wars episode, and those are all delicious and full of meat of
I could
story.
never get into that show.
Oh, so
The
good.
first season, the first episodes are so awful.
It's it's a good show. It's really good. Rebels is really good too, but the Bad Batch is good. That's a good show. Ladies and gents, go watch the Bad Batch. It,
Nah, don't
it's
waste your time.
it's good. They do a really good job of connecting all the dots after episode 3, or episode episode 3, and then the beginning of episode 4. They do a good job connecting that. And Rebels is after, it's during A New Hope and episodes 4 through 6. It's during that time frame, and then a little bit after. So yeah, if you're gonna watch it, I guess you're gonna watch it in order. No, because there's actually an episode. My bad, my bad. So the Bad Batch is after Rebels. Is during that time frame, right? No, it's the transition after. I'm getting confused. It's after the transition between episode 3 and 4. It's during that time frame. It's the weird transition. So it's during like the whole Rebel time. So those go in tandem. There's a new season of Star Wars Clone Wars. That's what I was referring to. Star Wars Clone Wars season 12 that popped out at like late earlier a couple years ago. I think it was last year when it popped up or the year before. Anyways, that's the one that tells the complete story. There it is. I was confusing myself and I was confusing you guys, but now I set it all straight. There we go. Watch the shows; they're good. We're gonna move on. So following the vein of shows of animated shows, I've been watching Vox Machina. Primo, have you heard of that?
I kind of heard the name, but I couldn't tell you where or what it is.
Mm, mm.
But I've heard the name. I don't know if it's a fantasy something or
Yeah, so Vox Machina is a animated show on Amazon Prime. That it's a fantasy based show, and the show is based off of this streaming. These voice actors got together and started doing a D&D stream, and they were just giving these characters and personas a life and stuff like that, and they were just and became very popular. And apparently Amazon got the attention of Amazon, and Amazon decided to convert some of the streams, I believe, or their concept into the show, into the animated show, and thus the first three episodes. I think episode four dropped today because it releases every Friday, and I've watched the first three episodes, and it's totally adult, like 100% adult, and you'll see that in the first episode. It's like it kind of makes fun of itself and all like all the D&D worlds and stuff like that, and also some of the Lord of the Rings. It makes fun of everything fantasy. It's all That's what Vox Machina is. It's making fun of the whole fantasy universe and everything like that, and how silly it is, but how brilliant it is at the same time, with magical powers and whimsical storytellers and things like that. And you have them all embedded into this one collective group that they call themselves Vox Machina. And it's 100% a treat, and it's refreshing to see, because you it's like it's like the Suicide Squad, but in a fantasy world, and they're the outcast, and they have this group, and they try to collect missions and stuff like that, and they're down and out, and they're running out of money, and the kingdom is desperate because they're being terrorized by this creature, and they need to find a group that's willing or who's dumb enough to take on the task. And so fate would have it that Vox Machina is looking for a task, and that's where the story picks up right there. Just like Vox Machina needs a job, the kingdom needs help. Boom, puts them together, and now the fate of the kingdom is in the hands of this ragtag group who just can barely get along with each other, let alone with the rest of society, because they're just so obnoxious when they're around other people. And the show is whimsical, it's funny, it's a blast, but it's raunchy. It's really raunchy. Like there's f bombs all over the place. There's some nudity. There's just like innuendos there with like some messages and stuff like that. So it's clever, but it's your it's an adult. It's kind of like your father's D&D kind of thing back in the day. It's like, well, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of this freaking dragon or something like that. So it's epic. I like it. It's a lot of fun, and the animation is stellar. And that's the thing for a show of like this quality of like comedy and stuff like that. The animation is like through the roof. So I've enjoyed it a lot, and I highly recommend it. It's a fun show. If it That's if you're like looking for animation, but yet it's adult oriented, and you can kind of cope with it, and you don't have to sit down with the kiddos or something like that, but yet you just want to appreciate some good art. Vox Machina, 100%.
convince me. I'll probably watch it. Add it to my list.
Yeah, man, you won't regret it. You'll be laughing right out of the gate. You'll be laughing because it's unexpected. You're when the way that they open it up, and they're expressing the world and how it's evolved and where it's been and where it's going, kind of thing, and then boom, it hits you with this like this left turn, and you're like, oh, okay. You're like, all right, well, I guess that's the kind of show we're having. Like people getting ripped apart everywhere. It's just it's
Jesus.
hilarious. Yeah, no, it's funny. It's it's raw. It's really raw, but I highly recommend it. So that's I think that's the last animation thing that we've been watching. I mean, at least I've been watching whatnot. But Primo, tell me what you think about Secession, since we both just finished it. Your thoughts?
Man, that show is so good. I think it's one of the best written show on TV right now.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I love the ending. I loved it. Love the acting and all the paybacks to before storylines from little threads that have been dangling there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good.
So
I hope they
for
end it
those,
soon.
and sorry to interrupt, for those who don't know what Secession is, could you tell them real quickly?
It's
Like it,
this it's like the life of one of these huge Disney like or Fox like company, they're in the media, news, everything. It's like who's from the Fox Murdoch family? Some it's like kind of like that
yeah,
a little bit. So this guy, forget his name, the main actor, but he's older now. He's the head honcho of this mega corporation, and he has these four kids, and they're all messed up in their own ways and stuff. So and all of them are vying to be the next heir to the throne, to say like that a lot,
yeah,
the for the company, and their father just uses them, and he's evil, man. The guy is evil. He uses them and extorts them and puts them to fight between each other, and but it's a fantastic story. The acting is incredible, and the ending was pretty good, man. I really loved it.
and so how many seasons do we have right now? We have
Three.
yeah,
Had 3 seasons, and currently it's only a 5 season show. So
okay, all
that's
right,
been going around the thing that they don't want to overextend the show, because it's kind of feeling this season. You kind of felt like they're in this routine
yeah,
of all the season have like the same like hit points, and so I hope it ends soon, in a couple of years now, because I think I don't see them that storyline. This is a very good storyline, but you can turn it into something very like obnoxious, and it could turn into something else. And
yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I saw it in this season. There's moments where the second oldest, the one who was originally supposedly gonna get the crown, the throne, and control
yeah,
everything. He's been like our main character throughout like all three seasons, essentially. Like he's been like the focal point. There's always something happening to him that is so uh devastating, and it's life changing for the character. And so this season it was just he was having like a spiraling effect, because he was it seemed like for the first time this character was blossoming into his own, and he didn't know how to deal with it, how to cope with it, and how to become, like who is he in this new space that he just created for himself, this new entity essentially, or him actually being himself in this space.
but he was never being himself. He's always he until the
Yeah,
end of the show, where when the last episode, when he tells his brothers what is happening, what happened to him,
yeah,
is that's when he becomes again like a new person.
yeah,
But he's
no,
always like when you shovel down all your problems and your
mm-hmm,
emotions and stuff, and you can and he can appear like he could be like this successful, or because he has money, so much money that he throws a ridiculous birthday party for himself, and it turns into a misery for him.
yeah.
And
It just
so
that's the thing that got really redundant for me. Like that whole process was just it was agonizing throughout the it was like 2 or 3 episodes of him
yeah,
just going through the exact same emotion again and again, and
yeah.
in just different places, different scenario. And that's why I was approaching it that he was, because at the beginning, at the end of season 2, spoiler, he confesses some allegations, and then this um
He
and
throws his father into the
yeah, and then that's where this one takes place. Is like he's trying to gain the respect of his father in that regard. um but it just becomes the same. it's like we dealt with the same character, the same persona of the character in season 2, and how he was. I don't know. It just felt like a repeat. You know,
No.
kind of like they were trying to stretch out this emotion throughout the whole entire season, and it was just like we already got it.
And I
Wait.
think is that all of them have this Stockholm syndrome to them
Mm,
because when they get far from their dad, they kind of like they feel out of the family in some way, and
yeah.
they auto destroy themselves because he's like this big gravity, like the sun, around, and they're just circling like planets around him.
Mm,
So when they're not in his vicinity, they just don't know who they are. And that's what happened to him. Like he
yeah.
doesn't know who he is. He's trying to be this woke, uh, woke billionaire slash mogul and
Yeah.
so and fake feminist thing, and it doesn't work. No, everybody sees it's just not him, you know.
Yeah.
So, but he does atrocious stuff to to his sister.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh man, that episode, like that song "Rape Me," and she's
Yeah.
trying to, oh man,
Yeah, and they're definitely going at each other's throats and everything
yeah,
like that for sure. It's and you could see in this episode how like you said the father, it has this uh, gravity force around him, and he's drawing everybody near, but it's always to his benefit to keep them at each other's throats, so that way he can control them and manipulate them and dangle the treat over their head essentially, to get them to get what he wants, basically, to get to where he wants. But it also felt like he doesn't he doesn't quite have a good head on his shoulders, but he does understand business really well. Like he understands where it's gonna go, how it's gonna go, and I like how they still keep that true, because it's almost like if Michael Scott from The Office was just a goofy boss the whole entire time and didn't know how to sell, then he's just an idiot. But the
yeah.
fact that he knows business really well and he knows how to sell, and
But
that's
that
that's why he's a
that
manager.
trait that trait of the character was a note that the original creator of The Office put on the pilot.
Mm,
That you could be you can be a you can be a bad employee in England, and it won't matter. They won't throw you out. But in the United States, it's different. So you have to give him a redeeming part, like he has to be good in his job to be there.
yeah,
Like that was the note, and he knows how to sell and how to connect with the people he's selling to, and so that works, like that part.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like this character right here in Secession's like
All of them are competent
yeah,
because even the most messed up that is Roman Roy, he's pretty good in business and he
yeah,
knows how to connect. It's
yeah.
like that if they all if the three of them didn't have this thing that they don't trust each other because all three of them are good in their own areas. Like they could run this business like that company better than their dad if
Mm-hmm.
they just know how to work together. But his father's never let them get together. Like he's always manipulating and trying to break them up, and always he loves seeing them fight. Like
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a really good point. Yeah, because honestly, all three of them equal him, but there is an older brother, the oldest one, and
he's not good.
he's off in his own world, always trying to do something
Yeah,
different, always like in La La Land, and now he's running for office, to try to be the president. And that's the other thing. Like in this show, this season, there was a there was an episode where they're picking supposedly the next president. Because this current administration, the guy was like resigning, or he wasn't running again. That's what it was.
yeah,
He wasn't going to run
yeah.
again, and so they're like, we need a new guy. They're trying to like put a guy in there and stuff like that. So,
They're playing kingmaker.
yeah, exactly, playing kingmaker. Yeah. So this season really touched on a lot of emotions individually of the characters. You saw a lot of growth, but then you saw a lot of their demons manifest again and
Yeah,
completely tear them down. And and there's a lot of elements that you could, like you said, you could see the start of the end game in this season. and how it developed. I feel like this season got stretched out though, because some of the episodes did not need to be there. You could remove them and they don't do anything. They
Yeah, I think it was more of a COVID thing than anything.
mm,
Kind of limited them. Even in Billions, if you see the last season, you see COVID really messed up a lot of them. But in this one, it was not even a full season. It was only 9 episodes. Usually it's 10 episodes, and this one
mm,
is only 9. So they kind of because Brian Cox, the main, the father figure in the show, he's an elderly man. So I think they wanted to be more careful around him. So that's why you kind of see like they kind of separates them in a bunch of groups at the beginning of the show.
oh, okay,
Mm.
all right. Yeah, that actually, now that you say that, that actually makes sense. Yeah, because and they did a good job on
Usually they're all in when they're one. They always have this one scene where they're all of them are in one place and they're just this huge fight that always comes. Um, but yeah, and it's a fascinating show too by the look of it.
hmm
Because I was listening to some interviews by the guys who directed. And they say they film it like a documentary. So
Yeah,
the actors can never be off because they don't know when the camera's going back to them. Sometimes that's why you see a lot of these reaction shots.
yeah,
Somebody else is talking and and they're just focusing on this one character and how he reacts, to the information that he's getting. So it's kind of like they learned that even if you're not in the shot, you have to continue acting.
yeah.
You cannot stop acting. So it's a fascinating way how they do the show.
No, that's outstanding. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. That when you were saying that, I remember specifically a moment when there was this big a big outing, right? Or it's like the quarterly review or whatever, where all the companies, all the shareholders review, all the
Yeah.
shareholders are there, and they're having a crisis in the back. Well, when one shot was focusing on what was happening like in the foreground, in the background these two actors were back there like holding a legit conversation, like it looked like legit to the moment. And I was like, oh
Mhm.
sweet, like that's genuine, like you would see that in real life kind of thing. But now that you say that, that makes total sense, because they don't know where how maybe there's a rack focus to them later
Yeah.
on in the same shot, but those two characters have to be on, and probably their mics are still running and being collected, so that makes me wonder how much is improv when you have moments like that, and then how much is actually written, because would you think that the writers wrote something
I think the
specifically for that?
writers I think the writers write with the script and these 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 actors are really good and they already have their characters
Mm,
nailed.
yeah,
So they already know like, oh, the guy who plays Connor Roy, he's gonna act like Connor. So so I think the director lets them
yeah,
be their own characters.
yeah.
And but yeah, I mean that scene with where Roman by mistake sends his dad a
Oh,
picture, and
yeah,
nobody knows what's happening. Only these two people, and everybody's reacting that something happened here.
man, that was that that was. And the thing is, like, homeboy just had a victory. He literally
Yeah,
he he
yeah.
just like he
That just caught him from being the boss of the company.
yeah. Eh,
That was one of the most expensive dick pics in the history of
yeah, yeah.
TV.
Oh yeah. But uh uh yeah, no, it's something that you got to see, folks. You just can't, like, to
Yeah,
describe it. It's just one of those moments where you're rooting for this character and you're so happy for him to finally succeed, and he's having his moment in the sun, and then he himself, he can't hold it back, and he does something stupid, and that's just who he is. That's his persona, and they do a good job of establishing it. So had he done that out of a whim, I would have been upset. But they established it
yeah,
earlier. I think like an
yeah,
episode before, where she was where the receiver of said dick pic was gonna be she was expressing like, you need to stop doing that. And he's like, why? Come
yeah.
on, it's fun. I'm just playing, blah. And then it comes around and bites him in the butt. So, you know, It's one of those bittersweet moments where you're like, yes, oh, you dummy. Okay, well, yeah. And you see the character regress into like a kid, like
Yeah,
he becomes a child in front of his dad, and
yeah,
it's crazy because a moment ago you saw him at just like his finest moment, and he was taller than everybody in the room, and then he's like, just got into that fetal position. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's the show. The show has brilliant actors and it's well written. I agree. I enjoyed it. This one was a bit slow. I will admit
yeah.
it lagged a little bit for me. So almost to the
Mhm.
point where I couldn't muster it anymore. But after you power through those two episodes, you
Yeah,
it's
they were rough.
yeah
They were very depressive. It
yeah
was like on season of Ozark, not this new one that came out that before when she kills her little brother. There's like 2 episodes of her just being miserable,
yeah
and that's all the theme. And I'm like, oh my god,
yeah
all these long shots just panning from away from her crying, and you're like, oh my god, I get it, it hurts.
yeah
But-
yeah. No, I agree. And this last season of Ozarks, that was at a whole other level because
yeah,
you saw it, right? You saw the
yeah,
Ozarks.
I was like, yeah, I saw it.
Oh my god, talk about talk about so good, man. Ozarks is so
But
good. It's
it's
like
a show that is getting there too. Like, okay, you have to end this.
yeah,
This cat and mouse game.
yeah.
You can't never you can't constantly
Well, they're
just rely on that. But I think they're setting up the end game. Just
yeah, because this is the last season. It's not gonna go any
yeah,
further after this. Like the part one, and then now there's gonna be a part two. Hopefully, it comes out at the end of this year. It shouldn't come out next year. Don't make us wait, Netflix. Don't you do
no,
it.
yeah. I think that they filmed everything.
Yeah, it should come out,
So
but they do such a good job of just establishing like the beginning, the first shots of the season. You know, you get this tragic moment that happens with them in the car, and then and then it transitions into how did they get there? What transpires for them to get there? And you're like, wow, it's just so good, and it picks up right where it left off on the last season. And just like the chaos of everything, and I love how they snuck in this new character, this Javier, aka
yeah,
yeah
but they always have a new character on each
yeah
season.
yeah. But they put him in there like right there out the gate, and you just know that Javier is trouble. You see him how he's staring them down, eyeing them, asking them questions and stuff like that. There's this madness behind the smile, and how he approaches them, and then how they have to go back. The couple has to go back to the states and try to figure out how to get this crime lord scot free with everything, you know. And it's just this, like you said, it's a cat and mouse game where they're trying to pivot and everything like that. And their homestead is divided as well, with the youngest one, Jonah, just being
Yeah, I
in,
think the problem with the show is the kids, is that they don't sometimes they don't know what to do with them,
mm,
and they go to these extremes. They're like, okay, she's gonna put her kid in prison just because.
yeah. But that's just like it's a motherly thing, you know. Like that's a mother trying to teach their sons a lesson, you know. Like, hey, this is for your own good, and once you've learned this lesson, now you'll be better off for it. But at the same time, she's trying to keep him away from all the badness, all the chaos, and he's just kind of running into the arms of chaos, the youngest one. And the older daughter, she learned the hard way too, like in the first two seasons. She learned, and she was like, okay, well, now I've been put in my place, and I need to step up and stop being such a baby. But the kid, he can't. He's kind of like in this rebel stage, and he's wicked smart. So having that dynamic and having that conflict internally just brings more chaos to it, because otherwise they'd just be coming home and just working on how to get this mafioso scot free with all his crimes and stuff like that with the FBI, and that would just be kind of flat. But if you add that extra, you know, pique in there, that salsa, that sazon of the sun, then I just throws a wrench in everything. So I enjoyed it. I like And
Yeah, I enjoyed it, everything. I enjoyed it, but yeah, he was getting on my nerves like constantly.
it's,
It's like okay, yeah, but you know,
it's like we get it. You're
even
rebellious.
yeah, you're rebellious. But yeah, the show was good. I mean, they have a way of doing creating these menacing characters, like, and they just the casting is on point
Oh yeah,
because they're just some of them are just you fear them when they're talking with the crime lord from the cartel, the Mexico.
yeah,
When he sighs, you hear him loud when he sighs. You oh no, he has this bad
yeah,
side to
yeah.
him.
It's like, damn it.
He
So
can be the most charming guy. Oh, suddenly he goes, oh, can you just
it's like, could you imagine working for him? It's like, damn it, one of us is
yeah,
gonna die. One of
yeah.
us is gonna die because he just signed. He's just. It's like, damn it. Yeah, no, and Javier, man, that character is. He's just a loose cannon. He doesn't care. He sees himself as superior above all these other people.
Yeah,
And he can just throw money at it, the problem will go away, or just kill it. If money
yeah.
can't fix it, a bullet can. So
But he uses more bullets than anything.
yeah, yeah, he's a psychopath.
And he kills you with a smile, and you're not knowing that he's gonna kill you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the scary part of Javier, and the thing is that his uncle, the cartel boss, he knows, like he knows, like what do you want me to do? Like he's my nephew. I can't just like I just can't kill him. My sister would beat me
Yeah,
up, kind of thing. So man, I, it's well written, and I ate that show up like real quick. As soon as it came out, like I think I binge watched it the next day, and I didn't even realize that I binge watched it because I was just sitting there, just the story, just eating it
yeah.
up
The
and eating it.
episode count is pretty low. It's only 7, I think.
Yeah,
So
but it's 7 good episodes. When
yeah,
that's when you know that it's rich and thick with story, and it's pushing everything forward, and you see them closing things down. You see them
yeah.
closing all those doors, tying
Oh
all
yeah,
those knots. They do a really good job about that. So everything that they established and ended in the previous season, they've done an excellent job of closing those doors in this season, and it's only halfway done. So now they have the next half that we'll see the final and epic conclusion, which I could see it being 5 episodes or something like that. But if it's 7, that's great. I could even see it being a movie, to be honest with you, because they can wrap this up nice in a movie. But
yeah. I think it's some more episodes. I
yeah,
think they're gonna probably down the road. They probably like Breaking Bad. They'll do a movie on it or something.
yeah, with the kids or something like that, like a little bit
Yeah,
after, because they're trying to go back to Chicago. But I don't think they should. I think they should just definitely go somewhere completely different. Just disappear, kind of thing. So
yeah. They play. They. I think there's no saving for them. I think they're. I think they're doomed.
I don't want a Breaking Bad, and that was the thing. I don't want a Breaking Bad ending. I don't want it where it's you
Well,
know.
these characters have done repulsive things in this show. There's no redeeming them.
I mean, they're not
The only person
bad.
you can cheer is like the the blonde one, the little from the trailer, well, not Darlene, forgot her name.
Yeah, I think that
Anyway,
isn't that her name.
she's the one she's genuine because she just loves her cousins and
Mm-hmm.
she wants the best for them, and she's been with all her strength trying to take them out of this bad place. And I think I feel more for her than for the main cast like
Yeah,
of characters.
and I see that, and I get it. It makes sense, But she's always been like a rotten egg as well.
Yeah,
She's no different than our main characters. She's just
yeah,
gone about it differently.
yeah.
You know.
It's smaller scale. The other one, the other, they've been
Mm,
burning bodies. They've been killing people. They've been just.
true. I don't. Well, yeah, but still, I don't want it to be kind of like a Breaking Bad thing. You know.
Because the characters are always like there's like, oh, I always resolve this eh, unfixable problem, and I always fix it. But
Yeah.
there's always gonna come like, oh, there's there's a problem you can never fix. Like there's always one that just captures and
Yeah.
gets you. So
Yeah.
I think there will be casualties. long end of it.
Well, you saw in the season opening that it was
Yeah,
they flipped over in that van. So, um,
I think it's them going to Chicago.
no, it's actually them going to go speak to the FBI. Well, we know that they're going to go
All
speak
right,
to the
yeah, yeah.
FBI, but
Okay, yeah.
where we don't know. So, but yeah, they're on their way to talk to somebody and maybe give their case, but I just hope that they walk out of it. You know, we see them crawling out and they're like, "Oh my god, that sucked, blah blah blah." But hopefully
I
it's not
I
like that's it,
I
they're dead.
think I think no. I think they're gonna stay a crime family because the wife character, she's gotten used to power, and you can see it
That's
in her
true.
face.
That is very true.
They're not the same. He wants to like close all this stuff, but she's getting used to power. Now she has like what, 100 billion something in
Yeah, it's like
her politics
yeah,
and stuff.
150 million. Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's gonna be like the wife in the what is in the show, the politics show, on Netflix, that he becomes the president, and
Oh, House of Cards?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I never finished that show.
No, I didn't near that.
Yeah. That was it for me. Like after I
I,
think it's 6 seasons. After season 5, I was just like, "All right, the show's done." Like it's
yeah, when he became president, the show just took a knife off. It just went off the riff.
yeah. And so I just I couldn't really finish it. And obviously he got kicked out of the show because of that huge scandal that occurred and everything like that. So that didn't help the show out at all. But after that, after the 5th season, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm good. I see it. I see where it's going. I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm okay. But yeah, Primo, is there anything else that you'd like to touch on? Any last minute shows or movies that you'd like to touch on or anything like that?
No, well, I haven't. I just been playing God of War a lot, so that ate a lot of time from my viewing TV and stuff and movies. So
Yeah,
now that I finished, I'm gonna get back on watching some shows and stuff.
yeah, yeah. No, God of War took up a lot of my time, an insane amount of time. So I was just, yeah, I'm kind of happy to be done with it because it just, I was just so captivated with the world, and I honestly recommend it to be nominated as Game of the Year for this year on a
It
re-release.
already was Game of the Year
Well, it should win
when it came
again
out.
for PC for a re-release. That's just my that's what I'm saying. Just throwing that because the storyline is phenomenal, just phenomenal. Gameplay could use a lot of work, in my opinion. So, but storyline out of this world. Highly recommend it. Um, but is there anything on your radar that you're planning to watch? Anything that you're interested in?
Uh, that animated show you told me, Vox,
Nice. Yeah.
Jack Reacher apparently dropped up today, so
Yeah.
probably start watching that.
Same here.
Um, Peacemaker, I have to continue with that.
Oh yeah, same here. I need to catch up.
Yeah, so that's about it.
Yeah, that sounds. Jack Reacher is what I'm really interested in. Jack Reacher and I watched Raised by Wolves came out, so I highly recommend that, and we'll talk
I
about
haven't
that.
watched that show
I'll
yet.
talk about that next time. But Raised by Wolves, and then there's one by Downton Abbey, the creator
The
of
movie?
Downton Abbey. Not the movie, but it's I just had the name in my head. It's based on New York, old New York, the
Okay.
Gilded Age, the Gilded Age. I'm interested in that because the
What
person
is
the,
where is that coming?
it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
The first 2 episodes are out, so I'm really looking forward to that. I love the creator of Downton Abbey. I love his work. Uh, it's fantastic work. He's a great writer, great storyteller, and he also has a show on Netflix which is about soccer, like the like the development of soccer and the teams and everything like that, where it became like it went from being a gentleman's sport to an everybody sport, and different leagues can join and stuff like that. It's a fantastic story. It's real humble and it's really endearing. So I highly recommend that one too. But I'm interested in this New York story. I'm curious on how he approaches old New York So I am going to be watching that. But yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is that is our show for this week. That is our show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything that you guys would like for us to watch that you guys have watched, let us know in the comments down below. Below.
Below.
Below. There you go. Below. But below. We're also on Spotify and we're trying to get onto Apple Podcast. So and we're also on Anchor. So if you're on Anchor and you're listening to this, feel free to send us a message and we'll listen to it. If you guys have any thoughts, concerns of the show, please let us know. Let's have a conversation. Let's chat. But yeah, let us know if you guys have seen any of the shows that we've seen. If you have any thoughts or opinions on it, and we'll love to hear from you guys. But from us to you, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, much love. Peace out.
Peace out.